Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Placer County LAFCO meeting for February 9th, 2022. Can I please have a roll call? Please join me with the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And can I please have a roll call?
Commissioner Gustafson, Commissioner Carl, here. Commissioner Patterson, Commissioner Rohan, here. Commissioner Weigand, Alternate Commissioner Holmes,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Lohman,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Stevens,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Starsky,
Here.
Chair Alpine.
Here. Thank you.
You have a quorum.
All right. I'll move us to item 3, changes and approval of the agenda. Is there any changes, approvals? Michelle?
Excuse me, Bill Wright, legal counsel. It's not really a change to the agenda, but I just wanted to announce that with Commissioner Lohman, we just found out yesterday that he was going to participate remotely. So we did not have an opportunity to notice the agenda in the way that the Brown Act requires typically. So while it's certainly appropriate for him to participate, because we have a quorum anyway and his vote isn't necessary in the sense that to take action, I'm recommending that he be allowed to participate in the meeting, but that he not vote on any items because we did not notice his location on the agenda as required by the Brown Act.
Okay.
Mr. Lohman, Commissioner Lohman, did you hear that?
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Can I get the approval of the agenda? No other changes? All right. Move on to item 4, public comment. At this time, any member of the public could address the commission on any subject matter within the commission's jurisdiction, but not appearing on today's agenda. Anybody from the public like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and bring us back to item 5, a presentation. The commission will receive the annual update from the NID, Nevada Irrigation District, on their upcoming projects in 2022.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to introduce very quickly Greg Jones, who is the Assistant General Manager for NID, and he will be presenting, as you mentioned, their upcoming projects and for this calendar year and also for the next few years. This is the light, if you need it, the pointer.
Well, thank you for having me, Commissioners. My name is Greg Jones. I'm the Assistant General Manager with NID. Been down here in this chambers before a couple times over the last few years with some various annexations that NID has been participating in Placer County, and happy to have Michelle give me an invite to come down here today and just give you a quick overview of what we're looking at. We've got some budgetary changes this year and then anticipating through the next in order for our service territory in the Placer County region. So this is an extremely, okay, there it is. Okay, so as you probably know, but I thought I'd just put it out here for the public's perception, NID has a number of what we call island properties within our sphere of influence and within our service territory, both in Nevada County and in Placer County. Many more properties are islands of Placer County than they are in Nevada County. Over the years, NID has been incorporating and annexing some of those islands over the years. And what an island is really it's an APN, or it's a land within the perimeter of the district's sphere of influence. but it is not included in the district's boundaries. Islands may be annexed into the district with the rights of service if and when water is available. Many of the islands that are within Nevada, and I'll speak specifically to Placer County, have been outside of the district boundaries nearly since its incorporation in 1927, when we came into Placer County to service water. Those mostly were for various reasons. A property owner might have just not been interested in Nevada, or in joining the Nevada Irrigation District at the time. And over years, they have a well, they have different ways to receive water, and so their entrance into NID in order to service and receive water just hasn't been a priority. Some of those larger plots of lands since 1927 have since been subdivided. Over the years, NID has been incorporating and annexing certain parcels over the years. Many of those parcels have been at the bequest of certain property owners. We did have a moratorium on all annexations in Placer County from around 2001 up until about 2017, and that was due to a tax sharing agreement that Nevada Irrigation District and Placer County finally worked out. It took a number of years to process that percentage share of incremental tax increase, but we got it hammered out over a number of years, and some of you may recall, but now we kind of are back in the process of annexing. We did move on a couple annexations throughout Placer County in 2017, 2018, and 2019. And then NID's budget, and NID has been paying for these annexations. We have not, the typical property owner would not pay for these. Budget cuts and budget amendments came along in 2020, 2021, and we just have not done any more annexations. This year, 2022, is the first year that we actually incorporated some budget numbers to move forward with various annexations. So if a property does not is outside in an island, our district's resolution and our policy is that we cannot serve them water if they're outside of our current boundaries. Now, we've grandfathered in service to territories that have been outside the district boundaries in these islands in the years past. So we do have a number of islands, and you'll see here on some of these slides that we have a number of properties within these islands that currently receive NID water and have been receiving NID water for many years. However, they pay an out-of-district service fee. They pay a 25% surcharge on their water bill on a monthly basis. So by coming into the district and annexing some of these parcels in Placer County, those parcels that currently receive water, there's a couple benefits to those parcels themselves. Number one, they are eligible to receive water if and when water is available. That doesn't mean that they're guaranteed water. Some of these parcels might be quite far from an irrigation canal, or they might be outside of a treated water boundary where they won't get treated water until we do a treated water line extension somewhere. But nonetheless, they are eligible, and if they can receive water through easements, through different property owners, then they have the ability. Right now, when they're outside the district in these islands, it's just an absolute. They give us a call and say, "Hey, I even have an NID canal, maintained canal running through my backyard. Can I get a box?" We cannot serve them through our policy right this moment. So it gives them the opportunity to receive water in the future, with the caveat that if the water is available. Anytime somebody asks for service for water, obviously we go through the water analysis and make sure that that canal or that system has enough water for their needs. If you already are a customer of NID and you're in an island, you get the benefit of a 25% reduction on your water bill, period. And so that is helpful economically for those customers. Finally, all those properties that are annexed into the district vote in the NID district elections. Right now, even though they're in the sphere, they do not have the eligibility to vote. On this map, you can see, or on this, we've got 697 roughly parcels within Placer County that are island parcels. 82 of those properties actually receive service currently from NID. And so that leaves about 615 that just don't have service for whatever reason. They've never, they weren't eligible. They didn't receive water in the 15 years ago, and were able to get it before the moratorium went in, before NID wasn't able to service properties outside of our district boundary. So this is a map, and I apologize, it's not super big, but I'm going to zoom in on a couple of these. I've got 4 more maps following this, and I'm basically zooming in kind of this quadrant over here, that quadrant there, that quadrant down there, and then another quadrant up here, if you can see that. Kind of, we've broke it into 4. Kind of that NID is interested in moving forward with annexing many of these island parcels. It just is something that the district has been trying to do over the number of years. We've had a break on budgetary reasons over the last couple years, and in 2022 budget year, we've able to put in a line item budget in order to move forward with annexing some of these parcels. At the moment, we don't have a specific defined plan that I'm willing to lay out for you right now, like which parcels we're gonna go after first. But working with Michelle and the LAFCO, we are really interested in kind of jumbling a number of parcels together so that we get more bang for our buck in terms of the parcels and ensuring that we get more parcels in one application and one process than we can. So I figure we're trying to collect and annex as many parcels as we can in the next 5 years. 5 to 7 years is sort of our thought process at the moment, and a rolling process. Some of it has to do with how much money it's going to take, and the biggest piece of any of these annexations when the district pays for it or is the survey work that needs to be done. When you have disparate parcels that are not necessarily all contiguous, and it's one blob really that's brought to the LAFCO, but yet there's going to be, in this case in Placer County, we're probably going to be coming in the next 5 years, 6 years with a handful of properties that are not necessarily contiguous, but they're going to be contained in a section of Placer County. And we feel that that's going to be the most economic way to move forward on some of these annexations. And I'll just zoom in on a couple. It takes a few seconds because it's a really large, these pages are big TIFFs, and so they take up a lot of space. This is the northwestern portion of the district boundary, so just north of Lincoln. You can see, hard to see the street names in there, but if you know kind of this area, it's out towards, just north is Camp Far West Reservoir. That's the Bear River in the very north eastern portion of that picture. And you can see the properties that are outlined in that sort of pinkish hatch mark. Those are the properties that actually have service from NID. So they currently pay a 25% surcharge. Their surrounding parcels and their neighbors are always sort of like, why can't I get water? Why can't I? Sometimes it could be the fact that there is a constriction in a canal, a capacity of a canal, and that just won't allow it. But other times, is just, quite frankly, they're outside of district boundaries, and we cannot serve them until they are annexed into the district. So this gives that northwest portion map sort of zoomed in. The next map here is up to the northeast, going up Highway 49. That's the Bear River to the north, Nevada County in the gray. And this comes down, this is sort of Doug Oast Road off to the section where that sort of horseshoe section is. And those are large scale. I don't imagine the big, I'm not exactly sure if that large section of parcel, which is kind of going up towards the Bear River, is is kind of in play. We're still analyzing that section. It's a lot of, I think it's county, maybe some state lands up there. But that's kind of a big island. Clearly, there's not many homes or there's parcels up there. It's sort of contiguous of one property owner. Again, the orange sort of hatch, the pink hash, is already customers of NID, and they pay that 25% surcharge at the moment. This comes down, now we're kind of looking at Lincoln. So we're down in the southwestern section of the district boundaries. Little more sparse. Most of the properties down here are within district boundaries and have been annexed over the years. Again, there's just some blocks of land and some tracts where over the years, a long time ago, these were pretty large ranches and they were pretty large areas. They've been subdivided over the years. Some parcel owners had been able to receive district water over the years. Others, again, have not. And then I think kind of rounding out Placer County as we come back around towards Auburn. Again, these are just some folks that have treated water and without. So I think we're looking at focusing on this section of property of the county first to sort of shore some of these up, because there just seems to be a lot more smaller parcels in here that we can sort to gobble up, and there's just a lot more folks that have treated or that have water, service water with us that we'd like to clean up. Of note, right up in this section is the Placer County Government Center right here. You will be receiving a annexation application for that here shortly. Just 2 weeks ago, I think we NID had bid a resolution to annex that section of the Placer County Government Center per the master plan with the county, so that commercial properties can start coming in. That's sort of southeast of First Street and Willow, across from the Home Depot, right in there. So that should be coming to this commission here shortly. So, yes. Yeah.
If you are about to be annexed,
Yeah.
the district initiates the process and then the property owner is able to say no thank you, or how does it work?
So since I have been working on the annexations with the district, we have received phone calls and interest from property owners themselves. And they say, I understand I'm in an island. I've called up your customer service. They're telling me that, I've got a canal that runs right through my backyard. My dog drinks from it. Why can't I get service? Well, because you're not in the district. And so we would have a running list of different property owners who would call in as soon as we sort of jumbled together enough property owners in a particular area and say, yeah, that's a large enough tract of land that makes sense for LAFCO, for the district to start the process. We would then reach out to other property owners if they were within kind of a contiguous framework, and we would typically get consent from those customers if they were interested in annexing. And similar to the Haven annexation area that you have on your packet this afternoon, we try to get as many, if not all, 100% property owner signatures, in order so that we can kind of move through that CEQA 21-day process, so that if they all agree, great. I haven't yet had one annexation that we've done with the district that had any property owner say, no, I don't want to annex into the district. Because there's really honestly, there's no downside for that particular property owner, especially if they have water near them, if they currently are a NID customer. Some of them are interested in, and some of them may be so far away from water that they'll never receive water because irrigation canal is miles away and there's no treated water system near them. But they are interested in the political system and they want to vote and they want to be a member. They don't receive any additional tax tax charge, right? Because their tax charge is then just broken up to the district. So that does that explain?
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess it was your use of the term gobble that made
Gobble.
me think that
Sorry.
perhaps some people were annexed against their will.
Sure, and I think I might use that term a little loosely, but as we move forward, we have a number on many of these sections. I have at least one or more individuals who have called us over the years and said, "Can we finally annex into the district?" Well, the last couple of years, the district has had no money. Prior to that, we had to sort of prioritize amongst Nevada County folks who have called, Placer County folks, and we've tried to do as a bit of both counties each year. This year, Haven Hill, for instance, that property owner, it was such a financial benefit to this property owner and the additional 9 customers that are in this 10 APN block, that it was financially feasible for them to put up the money and do the annexation themselves. So they're paying for the annexation into the district right now. Moving forward, we will be identifying a chunk and a block of parcels, going to those customers, sending them letters saying, here's what an annexation is, here's what we would like to do. Do you agree? Would you want to annex into the district? Yeah. So right now, Haven Hill is on your agenda packet for today. So you'll be deliberating on that this afternoon. The Placer County Government Center annexation is, you shall see that in a few months or a couple months, I'm hoping. So you'll see that application packet across your desks relatively soon. That one has been clearly in cooperation with the county, as well as PCWA. The 3 parties have been talking about that for a number of years, so we're happy to get that moving forward. This year, NID has an annual budget of $45,000 to do certain annexations. It's, on any given annexation, when it's in a particular blob, like I said earlier, the consultant fee of the survey work is really kind of the largest, heaviest lift. When we have to go to different parcels and survey different parcels and make the maps, I don't have a frame of reference exactly for how much that's going to be, but a typical annexation survey work is, for us, it's about $12,000 to $15,000. And so we're hoping that with a $45,000 budget this year, we can solidify a good number of parcels into annexed into the district this year, and then I'm anticipating that same budget number sort of to roll through, and this year will inform the next few years for the district. So I put on the slide the fourth bullet, anticipating somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 8 years. That's kind of a guess at the moment. Once we start getting in and really seeing what the cost is, once we start bifurcating the parcels and trying to create the maps with annexation costs from Board of Equalization and the fees with the county, etc., we'll see where that goes. But we're anticipating both in Placer and Nevada counties to really sort of move these annexations along so that we can kind of clean up the district's area and sphere of influence, and so we don't have as many holes, I guess. And quite frankly, there's 67 customers currently that will economically benefit by moving forth 25% cheaper on water bills. So that's sort of my update. Do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
The Commissioner
Chair,
Holmes?
am I allowed to?
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Just a couple of softballs. The Camp Bar West, is that an NID reservoir?
No.
And is that South Sutter?
South Sutter.
Okay, that's what I thought so. And then where is major source of NID water?
So our source supply is about 70,000 acres of high alpine watershed. It starts above the headwaters of the middle fork of the Yuba River, comes down Jackson Meadows, Milton Reservoir, and then we pipe water from the middle fork of the Yuba over to the south fork of the Yuba, drops it into Spalding,
Okay.
and then we come from there down through the Bear River and transfer over to the Deer Creek. And that Deer Creek through the South Yuba Canal takes us into Scotts Flat Reservoir, and down the Bear River takes us to Rollins and Combi Reservoir.
So is Spalding a PG&E?
Spalding's a PG&E reservoir. We have a cooperative agreement with them, and we work cooperatively with our system flows and canal capacities through there.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commission? Any questions from the commissioners on the phone? Seeing none? Any questions from the public? All right. Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the time.
We'll see you
Good to see you again.
Okay, good to see you.
in a couple items.
I'll stick around.
And then that brings us to our next item, consent calendar. Any questions from the board? Any commissioners like to pull any item for further discussion? Any questions?
Move approval.
All right. I got a motion on the table. I was going to ask if the public has any comment on any items that are in the consent calendar. Seeing none, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose?
I need
Abstain?
I need to have the record reflect that I'm abstaining on the minutes.
Great.
Why don't we?
Pull that out for
do a-
separate action.
Why don't we pull the minutes from the consent so that you can abstain? And then take up the consent calendar, and then maybe we should do a roll call vote, just to be clear.
No problem.
So if we,
there a
let's
quorum?
pull the minutes from the consent calendar and take that up, take up the consent calendar first without the minutes, and then come back to the minutes.
Will we still have quorum?
Well, I'm gonna say, I wasn't at the meeting either, so I would probably, I wasn't at the meeting either, so I probably should abstain.
You're abstaining because you weren't present?
Yeah, but
And
And
is
I
that?
didn't review the video either.
Let's just continue that item.
Well, yeah, we'll continue the item.
All right.
Can I get an amended, a motion again for the consent calendar with the removal of the minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
As amended. Awesome.
Second.
Second. All right. Now roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Carl,
Aye.
Commissioner Rohan,
Yes.
alternate Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
and Chair Alpine.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. That moves on to our next item, business item. This will be LAFCO Project 2021-04, Haven Hill Annexation to NID, Nevada Irrigation District.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to wait a second for IT to load the PowerPoint. There we go. Thank you. Just very quickly, because this is a fairly standard NID annexation, there are 10 lots totaling 57.5 acres. As Greg mentioned earlier, 9 of the current parcels are receiving services. There is one vacant lot. They do receive non-potable or agricultural water for services, and it is via contract. So they are paying that 25% surcharge, as Greg mentioned earlier. There is no proposed land use. Now, the only, let me just show you the map. This is northwest of Auburn, and you'll see Haven Hill there on the bottom, that street, and then up above is Memory Lane, and there is a small portion of Memory Lane that's also being proposed for annexation. The only difference between this and some of our other NID annexation is this is inhabited, meaning there were 12 registered voters or more. In this case, there are 12. So we did have 100% consent, and normally, if it's uninhabited, we could waive the protest proceedings. under 56662, in this case, we have to use a different code section. So we did notice all the landowners and all the registered voters, and no one has submitted a protest. In this case, the commission can then waive the protest proceedings because we have not received any protest. It is exempt from CEQA because they are currently receiving services, and staff is recommending approval with the conditions of approval. They are standard conditions. That's located in your packet in Resolution 22-01. Thank you, Chair. That concludes my presentation. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions from the commission?
Just to clarify, the only effect of this action would be to change the rate that's currently being charged to those 9 households.
Right, and then the TRA would change, right? Because now it's in the district's boundary. So the district, or I'm sorry, the residents could vote in the district elections, and then there is a tax sharing agreement, so the district will get I think it's a very small percentage of the 1%. So that will change. The public doesn't necessarily see that, but we do see it in the TRA list and also, during the election process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions from the commission? I'll ask the public if there's any questions from the public. Comments? Seeing none, I'll bring it back for action.
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Okay, got a motion for approval of Resolution 2201. Can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, second. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Carl,
Aye.
Commissioner Rohan,
Yes.
alternate Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
and Chair Alpine.
Yes. Thank you. That moves us on to item B.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Which will be the Executive Officer's Report.
Thank you. I just want to highlight a couple of projects since we've been talking about them the last few meetings. The first is the annexations from the City of Lincoln. They do have multiple annexations that they're working on. We do have an application for Sub D that is going through the tax sharing agreement process with the county, and I was told that that is very, very close, and it's almost ready to go to City Council and the Board of Supervisors. So when that is approved by both agencies, then it'll come back to us, and we can proceed with the processing. The other 2 projects, I'm separating them out. One is the Focus Municipal Service Review. City staff has started working on the RFI, the request for information from our consultant. There were a number of personnel that left the city, and so with new personnel, they're picking up that item again. As I mentioned at the last meeting, that was due December 1st, but we're in February and they have not completed. So we're about 3 months behind. The villages 5 and 6 are, we have not received the application, but I know that city staff is working on the application. Wanted to talk to you about our website. I think it was our December meeting, the commission approved some money to set aside to start working on our website. And since that meeting, we have Amy on board, and she's been creating content for our website. You may recall that we received a grand jury report, stating we need to update all of this information and different things on our website. So this is the inventory of local agencies. This is the city's page, if you will, and Amy's got it linked to their website, their information, and even their meeting times. The one thing I wanted to mention is if there's information you want us to display, please let me know, and then we can add that. And hopefully we can keep this updated and current now that Amy's on board and she's a whiz.
Yeah, right, Amy, save the day.
Yeah, and this is the special districts page. This is, So Amy actually went out and got all the recent audits from the special districts. You'll see some there on the far right, and most of them have been very cooperative and providing information. And I think there's some that we're still waiting on, but you know, their website information, their general manager, the services they provide, that's all up there. And who's the principal LAFCO, because there are a number of special districts that are multi-county districts. And then this is the JPA inventory, which is in the works. There is so many, and so many JPAs. But Amy's working through that, and then the next item that she'll be starting after this meeting is the municipal service reviews and sphere of influence, which, you know, we really need to take an inventory of where we're at with those two legislative mandates for LAFCO, and to make sure that we're not missing anyone, and that we're, you know, trying to at least get caught up. So that will be, you know, end of this week, starting when Amy will get to that. The other project that she finished, which I don't have showing, is just the oh my gosh, Amy, the enterprise, what is it called? Enterprise catalog. Thank you. So, like I said, she's in charge. But yeah, and she's got that finished and up and running. So, so lots of changes, and we're happy to make changes and get more information. You know, for the
And
public.
comments from the commission? Questions? Okay.
Amy, I'm glad to see it didn't take you long to take over.
Yes, from the public, please come to the podium.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yes, hi Jenny.
Hi, I just happened to notice on the mayor page, Lincoln's mayor is not correct.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
great.
see the other stuff, but I saw Holly wasn't listed.
That's Ashley still, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank
thank
you.
you.
That's great. And then finally, I am requesting that the commission form a budget or finance committee just to help me with the upcoming work plan that is, and budget, proposed budget that is due in May. I'm hoping to get that to the commission in April, just so we have a little bit of time to get it to the cities, the county, the special districts for their comments, and, you know, give us their feedback. But this will be an ongoing standing committee. I'm hoping that this is the committee that can review our budget throughout the year when needed, and also, like I mentioned, assist me with the work plan and our priorities for, you know, every fiscal year.
All right.
So you're looking for volunteers?
I'm looking for
Yes.
volunteers for, and I think we
I
were
will
thinking,
volunteer.
okay, we'd like one county and
I
one
nominate-
city.
I nominate Commissioner Wygant.
Wygant, okay, great. And if anybody from a city?
I can volunteer.
Be in town?
No, right,
Is he
and
gonna
Sean
be in
Lohman
town?
from Chicago. From Colfax, I don't even know where I'm. Thank you, Sean. So that's our committee.
Yeah.
Appreciate you stepping up, and you'll be hearing from Michelle soon.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that
for your
concludes
report?
my report. Thank you.
Welcome. That'll bring us to our next item, 8, commissioner comments. This time, any commissioner to report on anything that they see fit?
I don't have anything to report except to express appreciation for a really healthy, robust, well-put-together packet.
Oh, thank you.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Any other comments?
A little less robust.
A little less robust.
Slow down, Amy.
That's so great. All right, with that, we'll move on to item 9. This will be a closed section. We will recess to a closed session for pursuant to Government Code Section 54957 to consider the evaluation of the executive officer. So, thank you. All right, we have come out of closed session. Bill, would like me to give the report, saying there's nothing to report?
In closed session.
No action taken, and that'll bring us to item 11, but before we adjourn, I just wanted to ask, would it be beneficial for the members to have a little, a brief one-pager of the different type of, how LAFCO, being a LAFCO commissioner affects your fundraising and other things as an elected. We have different rules, and there's different cap limits, and there's different things, and I think it maybe just be helpful to have that up front, so people know what they're getting into, and they've.
Should we put that on as a presentation item next month?
Or just, even in the information, it just should be just a one-sheeter. I think if the commissioners have independent questions, they could ask, but I think it's just good that people are reminded of it.
Well,
They
there
have
is on page 3 of your
it. Have the
agenda,
packet.
in that last
Last
paragraph, that contains some of the requirements under
Yeah.
Government Code Section 84308, but not all of them.
Yeah, I was just thinking the
And
little.
so, you are, as appointed officials, you are under a different set of rules than elected officials. And they're much more stringent in regard to campaign disclosures and restrictions and prohibitions in receiving contributions and campaign contributions and donations. So we can certainly send that out. We could include it on next month as a brief presentation if you would like.
Yeah, I think it's just important when we have the rotation, that when we onboard the new members, that they are aware of the impacts of being on this commission.
It is
Especially if you're going up to an
significant, and
election
everybody
year or
should be fully
something.
aware of it.
It may affect your ability to serve. And I don't want to see someone get blindsided by being on the commission and making judgments and all of a sudden affect their ability
Nor do
to
we.
participate in their communities. So I just think something like that.
So you're saying just an informational?
Informational, so we'd have it for our
Not a
onboarding.
presentation
Yeah,
item?
Should we, well, I can send out a brief, one-page memo. I could even, so why don't we do that?
yeah, and
And
I'll
if that's
I'll
not
work with-
enough, we can put it on an agenda item. Yeah.
Yeah, we can send it, so it's on the record, and then I think I'll work with Michelle of how we're gonna onboard people,
Right,
right? How we're gonna bring them on.
And the only thing I would say is if I do send it out to all the commissioners, that, of course, you're not supposed to then talk to all the different commissioners about that item. If you want to talk about it, it should be in open session at a meeting.
Correct. Or they contact. Consent, exactly.
Public setting, so anyone asking questions would protect themselves from.
Why don't we do it that way? It'll probably be just as efficient. We'll put it on the consent calendar, and if someone wants to talk about it more, they can pull it and we can have a discussion about it.
Sounds good. All right, with that, thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.